What's up, guys? It's Brian Burke, Ian Owen. Say hi.
How you doing?
For GoBeyondDating.com. In this video, we're going to talk about why you should never try to impress women and why you should not try to get laid. So obviously, these are kind of two common ideas that guys hear a lot. What do I say to impress girls? When you're going out, with your buddies, everyone's talking about getting laid, right? That's kind of the common term that people use.
Right.
There's a couple problems with that, though. First of all, trying to impress women is probably the worst thing you can do. It's the worst advice you can get for a number of reasons. First of all, when you try to impress somebody, you're going to be using a persona. So if I want you to like me and I don't even know you, I'm going to be trying to say things and do things based on what I think you'll like, and that's not really my personality.
Right. Trying to impress implies that you're going to be somebody other than who you are because you have to act differently than you would normally in order to impress them.
Right. And I call this deception. The deception is basically the devil of communication. It's the thing that ruins or doesn't even allow you to have connections with people. The thing about deception is that women are looking to screen you out based on deception. It's the one thing they're looking for. It'd be very similar, like analogous to, let's say, you meet a woman who looks great, and then as you get closer, you notice she's got a lot of upper lip hair, and she's got a booger hanging out of her nose, or she smells really bad. Women can smell deception, so they perceive it. So basically, when you're, again, going back to the impressing part, you can see how trying to impress a woman is very similar to smelling very bad or having a booger hanging out of your nose.
They can tell. It's essentially walking up to it with a booger hanging out.
So don't be a booger. Okay. So kind of getting a more like big picture, it's impossible to get from anybody. So when you're trying to get laid, for example, or get approval, which would be impressing people, the postulate there is that you're incomplete. And the reality is we're all complete. There's nothing that anyone can give me to make me more me or to make me whole. Okay, so when you're trying to get something from someone, you're basically undermining who you really are. What we kind of do is we pretend to not be. We forget or we have like bad beliefs about ourselves and stuff. And so what this leads to is trying to get from others, whether it's guidance, like you walk into a room and you see how everyone's acting and dressed and you try to fit in and kind of be in the status quo there. What you're doing there is you're looking at everyone else for guidance on how to be. So there's this underlying idea that you're not complete, you're not okay. Okay, so that's super big picture, kind of woo-woo spiritual stuff. Going back to moment to moment practical application with women, you can only give and then receive, which would be accepting someone else's giving.
Right. So yeah, the big frame shift talking about here is that when you go out with the idea that you want to get laid, you're looking to sort of take from people, and you're viewing it as something that you're trying to get from her, which gets this mindset for you and this like feeling for her of like, he just wants something from me. Mm-hmm. It's like if you're talking to a friend or somebody you don't know well and you can tell that they just want to get something from you, it's a different feeling than if they're just genuinely there to talk to you and get to know you and learn from you. So the big shift is going from getting laid to giving her your personality or yourself or what you have to offer. So just viewing it, changing that perspective. It's like if a girl says like, oh, if you want to get some, you gotta be like this. Like right when a girl says that, you know first off she's got a skewed view of how it works, but you want to say to her, no, look, I'm not trying to get anything. I give. That's what I do. So it's switching from
I'm a giver.
Yeah, I'm a giver. And that also has an extra implied meaning there with some sexual inception.
That's coming in another video, though. So
yeah.
Sit tight. We'll give you that.
We'll leave sexual inception for another day.
Sexual inception. Actually, I just thought of a good comparison. So there might be guys out there who think they're chivalrous or gentlemen or, I'm a nice guy, right? I hear this all the time. Like, why, what's wrong with being a nice guy? Or women saying, well, what happened to chivalry and all this silly stuff? Well, think about this. Let's say I'm broke and I want to borrow $20, okay? And I come over to your place And I'm like, yeah, Ian, man, I really like your T-shirt today. That's cool, you know. And wow, I love what you did. You got a great couch, you know. Is that Italian microsway, you know? But you know, so I'm giving you all these compliments, right? I'm being nice, right? I'm being the same thing a guy would be doing if he was trying to be a gentleman or chivalrous.
Right.
And then at some point, I'm like, so listen, man, I get $20. And the whole time, and now before I even say that, I bet she'll sense something like, what's this guy up to? Why is he giving me all these compliments? So even if you think you're being nice, if you still have that intention of getting, she can see through that.
Right. I mean, I know exactly what he's talking about. I'm sure everybody's had this experience at some point. I personally am a very no bullshit person. I'm straightforward. So when somebody wants something, they can just ask me. You don't have to butter me up or anything. So I remember a friend texting me like, how's it been going with this? You know, how, like, what's going on in life and this stuff. Oh, by the way, do you think I could get this? And I was like, the whole time I'm reading text, I know that there's something there. There's something he wants. And you can tell. And it takes away from the genuineness of the interaction. So a girl can feel that when you're going up like, oh, hey, you're really pretty. And you're saying it just because you want to get laid or get something from it. There's a difference between saying that and going up to a girl and saying, wow, you're gorgeous, and meaning it, and saying it because that's how you truly feel.
And that's we're going to talk about that in the approaching video about
Right.
how to make approaching really, really easy. But I think that's the next one. We'll give you guys that in a little bit. When you're trying to get or take, you're trying to steal. And if you think about like a thief, right? You got to sneak into the house, right? The thief doesn't want you to. The thief doesn't want you to know that he's coming to take your stuff, right? He's got to be sneaky. In the same way, guys try to sneak into a woman's vagina, essentially. And you can do this the nice way with compliments. You can try to use the seduction stuff where you're doing frame games and trying to be like, you know, more dominant than she is, setting frames where like, you know, you're cooler than she is and stuff. Just all subtle ways. It's all subtle ways of sneaking in, right? The funny thing is, see, if you're caught sneaking in, you're going to meet resistance. If you come to my apartment and, you know, you're trying to break in, it's going to be a problem. I'm not going to just let you walk in. Same with the woman. If she catches you trying to sneak, in other words, deception or a game, you're going to get a lot of resistance. And the funny thing is, I mean, you hear guys complaining, like, man, I've gone on all these dates with this girl, you know, but she's not giving it up, right?
Yeah.
She's playing hard to get.
Just
that's the problem, because
eliminating,
you're trying to get.
Yeah. Just eliminating those parts of your vocabulary have a powerful effect on your mindset and your ability to go out and meet women without coming from that frame of reference and that place. It's just not a good place to be coming from, where you're always trying to get from people.
And by place, we mean intention.
Right.
So, you know, if you think about, well, I don't want to get too woo-woo, but like you know, you have your pure consciousness, right? Then the next step, the next layer is your intention. What are you up to in life? What are you doing? What's your dharma, right? And it changes in every context. If you're talking to a woman right now, you know, following your dharma or having a good intention would be, you know, to be wanting to give. And we'll talk about what giving really means and how to do that verbally and all that stuff in another video. The thing with game, though, and if you want to kind of go that route and try to be smooth and say the right thing, and seduction, which is really just, you know,
Deception.
is really just deception on a budget. So if you want to do that, you're gonna have to be a really good liar. The problem with lying is that it's not sustainable, and it's hard to know what to lie about. So, you know, I've heard it said that, you know, lying it's too hard, because then you have to remember your lies, right? So, you know, if you're trying to maintain this persona for a long time, there's going to be a crack in it, and when she sees that, it's over, game over. Okay, so I don't know. Did you want to say anything about it?
All I was going to say is, it's like view it as Santa Claus. Santa Claus goes around, you know, hopefully you realize he's not real, but as a frame reference, he you know, goes around for one day a year and just gives. There's no expectation. It's not like, I mean, cookies and milk, I suppose, but he's not there expecting that, right? Like, it's about giving without the expectation of receiving. That's how you get great relationships in your life with just all the people around you. And that's how you shift where you're coming from and your intentions, and people can tell. So, I think this video is about...
Yeah. Well, I actually want to say one more thing. So when you have this intention, okay, it's going to show through. Women can tell. The thing is, it's very rare for guys to be this way. So you're really going to stand out even without necessarily saying anything specific. There's just something about you. I get that a lot. Like, there was something about you. I didn't say anything fancy or special, but they can feel it. It's like an unspoken energy thing. If she sees your energy and attention, which is really all you are, your energy, you're just energy and attention. It's really the same thing. She sees that as a gift, and the reason why she would see that is because that's how you see it. And women just believe what you believe about yourself, basically. You just tell them what to think about you. When she sees that, number one, she's not going to feel pressured. And so even if you're not, you can be really obnoxious and forward and aggressive, she's going to feel pressure. You can also be that nice guy and trying to wine her and dine her and trying to get her approval. That's also going to feel like pressure. No one likes pressure. Pressure kills, pressure dries up the pussy. Pressure kills my boner. No one can get turned on under pressure. No one likes that. What leads to being aroused is feeling relaxed and comfortable. Okay, so when you're putting pressure on a woman, you're really ruling out any sort of sexual spark in there.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to mention before we wrap up is that this also implies that you're good in bed. Most guys are actually bad in bed, or even if you're not, even if you are pretty good in bed, you may still be acting as if you're bad in bed. And what I mean by that is trying to get laid, trying to impress. All that does is say, I'm bad in bed. And you got to think, why would she want to go home with you? Why would she want to get to know you? Why would she want to return your text messages?
And women can tell if you're good in bed based on some very subtle things, but one of those even is another shift difference from this getting to giving mindset is you always talk about guys like, oh, I want to get a blowjob, right? Like this common thing, like, oh, I want her to go down on me. Like, shift that and think, no, I want to go down on her. Like, and that's also one of the best ways to cement a connection with a girl is if you go down, you can just like blow her mind essentially. The difference, if you know whether it is just one night or you want to keep seeing her, it's going to be a huge difference in how she behaves, and that comes from that same place of I didn't just want to get from you, I want to give to you.
Well, I actually have a lot of ways to get a blowjob in a way that is giving to her. So you can do both, and it all starts with here. How you think. So you know, there's the way I see it. I don't get blowjobs, I offer an opportunity for the woman.
That's the next level. Is if you can make her view giving you a blowjob as a gift to you. So she's giving, and you're giving her the gift of blowjob. So next videos we're going to talk about approaching, how to make it dead simple, get rid of the approach anxiety, and then we're also going to talk a good bit about creating sexual tension, sexual spark, sexual inception, whatever we want to call it. That's the big gap a lot of people have, is being able to make it from friend zone and turning it into a sexual frame. And then the big thing I think we're going to teach is how to shift that frame right away, where when you're talking to her within the first couple minutes, she knows you're not just a guy she wants to be friends with, because that changes the entire conversation that you have with her and how she views it. Cool.
Hey man, it's Brian. Hopefully you enjoyed the videos. Obviously I couldn't include everything on these short videos. You're going to want to check out a much more in-depth video series I made called Sexual Spark. Me and Ian actually alluded to it several times. It's comprehensive and it has everything you need to know to get started meeting and triggering that sexual spark to make them want to sleep with you. As you can see, I break the system down in depth and go way into detail so that you can start using the Sexual Spark system in your own life right away. The discount's only going for a couple more days, so click below to learn more and let's make it happen.